Hello, welcome to Network. My name is Pumelele Zondi with your technology and social media news. It's SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. This week, our Twitter poll is asking us about influencer marketing. This was huge in the beginning of the influencer days, but it seems like there's research that says influencers are less trusted now. Results of that are coming up later in the program. Here's what's coming up in this program. We have details on why football teams are now teaming up with tech brands. There's info on agri-tech, and in our conversation, we chat about the Protection of Personal Information Act. Football in South Africa has millions and millions of followers, and you see football teams trending any given weekend when there are matches taking place. So it's no wonder then that technology brands have decided to partner with South African football teams.
From time to time, smartphone manufacturers team up with big names from other industries to help promote their latest smartphones. When Ivorian retired professional footballer Didier Drogba stepped onto the pitch at the 2010 World Cup, his boots sported red laces. It was the latest demonstration of his support for the partnership between himself and sports brand Nike to raise awareness for HIV and AIDS. Nearly 5 years ago, Apple surprised everyone when it announced a special edition of the Apple Watch in partnership with Paris-based luxury company Hermes. Here at home, Chinese smartphone maker Oppo has partnered with Orlando Pirates, one of South Africa's leading football teams, to launch its latest offering, Reno 7 5G.
Every partner that we've partnered with has been a strategic decision to really expand our coverage and popularity within the country. You know, choosing things like SA Fashion Week, partnering up with Orlando Pirates, which personally as a Pirates fan, I'm incredibly happy about. So we've partnered up with the people that are going to assist us in growing our brand, but also it's not just a matter of us growing our brand, it's about working cohesively together to grow these partnerships and strengthen them, day by day to benefit everybody.
For us, being able to partner as Orlando Pirates with a big brand, in the world like Oppo is a privilege, and we're also the first African club to be partnering with them, after having some partnerships in Europe with Barcelona and AC Milan. So it's really amazing for us, and we're very, very happy with this partnership.
The new partnership covers a vast amount of activities, including soccer events, fan activities, TV advertisements, and even accessories.
We've got to make sure that our brand is synonymous with our premium partners. So we've partnered with the likes of SA Fashion Week, because we are all about beautiful products, and so it just makes a lot of sense to be partnering with the likes of SA Fashion Week. You would see as well, we announced earlier on this year our partnership with Orlando Pirates as well, because they've got a big fan base over there, and we believe it's a beautiful partnership as well, how we can charge the Orlando Pirates, especially talking about our charging technologies.
Those in the industry say many companies look to football to enhance their brands.
With partnerships such as these, where Oppo has partnered with Orlando Pirates, you have this loyal base of supporters that are always returning, and in return, this gives the brand security to say, look, we have these eyes that are always returning to see our product. We can always have placement in their eyes, and we're top of mind.
Oppo says this partnership will likely increase its brand awareness nationwide as they attempt to make itself a household name.
The Oppo brand has grown phenomenally well in the time in the last couple of months since we have landed in the country, especially during the fact that we landed during a pandemic, and we've grown to, in such a short amount of time, we've grown to a top 3 manufacturer in the South African market. So I think customers really appreciate the fact that we give durable, reliable devices, and besides the fact that it's got an amazing feature set, people just love the fact that our design really does stand out from the crowd. We create attractive devices, but more importantly, I think customers appreciate the durability and the build quality that they're getting for a really good price.
Some branded smartphones have earned plenty of applause in the past, but are underwhelmed in terms of sales, like Huawei. Last year, they partnered with the Premier Soccer League team, SuperSport, to boost their sales.
I think these devices are extremely important to us as footballers. I think, training here it's different. We're monitored by heart rate monitors and that, but we do a lot of extra work at home, in the gym, and it's really important to have a watch and understand your body and understand, how to manage your body.
It helps you track your heart rate, it tracks your sleeping patterns as well. So yeah, it's going to help, and it shows obviously if you need more sleep, you need more rest, then that's going to obviously help.
With Orlando Pirates' position as one of the country's most recognized sports teams, this partnership is set to bring Oppo close to the legends of fans that follow every move of the football club and its star players such as Thembinkosi Lodge and Vincent Pule.
Agriculture is quite tricky, and sometimes you need to figure out the amount of crop that you need, and maybe if there are diseases that are doing the rounds, this is where technology can actually help.
Headlines of a foot and mouth outbreak that have been making the rounds have left South African farmers reeling for solutions to save their livestock.
The auctions are a place where people, when they've got a problem of this nature, they use the auctions to get rid of their problems. So I think the best advice I would give the farmers is to exercise extreme caution when they buy animals from an auction. Any country that hears that there is foot and mouth in a certain country, immediately they stop trading with that country.
Pig farmer Ntate Teboho Sejake shared with us some of the challenges he experiences in the day-to-day running of his farm. He says that technology solutions to help with operations might come in handy.
It would be nice to have an app that would deal with the finances, because that's one of the areas, but also deal with management of livestock. Be able to know when were they fed, what were they fed, at which point are you going to need to buy feed, all those kind of things. I think it would really help because you will have something at your palm that can, tell you or give you some dashboard of what is the situation at the moment.
Crippling problems like the foot and mouth outbreak and some of Ntate Teboho's challenges prove that farming can be a daunting task, especially without the necessary resources. Farmer's Friend is an application geared towards farming. Its creators say that this solution gives farmers a 360 view of their farming operations.
Farmer's Friend gives farmers a 360-degree view of their farming operations. It allows them to track over 100 activities that they would be involved in during a season, and gives them the opportunity to create an auditable track record of all of their behaviors when they're out in the field.
However great, the issue of connectivity still comes to play. It might be somewhat challenging to use such internet-dependent apps and farms, which are mostly based in remote areas.
We recognize that network connectivity is very difficult when you get into rural areas. So especially where we've been working currently, our app does have the ability to work either in network or out of network. So essentially you can go and you can collect activities on your day on the farm while you're off network. And once you get back into a network area, it will refresh all of the databases both on the web app as well as the mobile device.
Though it might not fix the current disaster that has befallen livestock farmers, apps like Farmer's Friend might alleviate some burden for those in agriculture.
Drones are found in many industries, including film and agriculture. But what does the law say about drones licenses and who can fly it without a license?
My name is Vice Piri from Africa Drone Kings, and today we'll be discussing drones. To clarify, there's two drone categories. There's one consumer, which people can use for private use, maybe you're going on a vacation, and there's one that you can use for commercial use, which is for work. Among the ones that we have, For hobbies, this will be the one that you'll be using for that. And for commercial, this will be for the Matrix 300. And this is mostly like a solution to depend with the industry, depend what is the problem they're trying to solve. For example, if it's firefighting, then there will be a specific payload that will be attached to this. If it's more like maybe for inspection of a bridge, there will be a specific payload that would allow the zooming function, and then they will attach the different payload.
The civil aviation has categories where it's either you are operating commercially or you are operating under a non-profit organization or you are operating privately. So if you are a mine, depending on whether you are using the drones for your internal work, you would then still need to go through the civil aviation process. However, that would mean you get a private ROC, for an example. However, if you do not want to go through the ROC process, you still need to ensure that you follow the civil aviation rules if you're going to be using the drones in your mine.
In South Africa, there are two categories. There's hobby use. For hobby use, you do not need to get a license. However, there are regulations that you need to obey under hobby regulations. And there's commercial. The moment you just comes to commercial, you need to get a license. And now on the license, there are two types of license, and I know a lot of people always mix those two. There's an RPO, which is which you get as an individual, which is like your normal driving license. However, there's another one called the ROC, which is the RPass Operator Certificate. That one is acquired by a company.
If you are working as a commercial ROC operator with the approved licenses from civil aviation, then the regulations make provision for you to fly in certain airspaces. However, if you are flying recreationally, you do not have the authority to fly in your, for example, your national key points, your prohibited areas, your danger areas as well. So if you have this relevant licensing from the Civil Aviation Authority, it makes provision for you to be able to fly in certain airspaces. However, if you do not have the correct licensing, then you are restricted to operating within certain airspaces as well.
The laws that if someone is found breaking the aviation law, it says that they'll get, I think it's 50,000 fine payment or 10 years in prison or both. The regulations are there and there are consequences of operating without a license.
It's SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. After the break, we chat about the Protection of Personal Information Act. It's SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Now, the Protection of Personal Information Act came into effect in 2021. Now, this prohibits those we've given our personal details to from sharing our personal information with third parties. But it seems like they are still continuing, at least a huge number of them. I'll give you my experiences. When I bought a new SIM card recently, didn't share details with anybody except for when I did the RICA process. A week later, I started getting calls from people soliciting business from telemarketers, as one would. Now, to talk to us a bit more about what's supposed to happen in such cases is Batawong Kotokwane, who is with iAfrican. Hello, and thank you very much for joining us, Batawong. Now, maybe if you can start by explaining what the Protection of Personal Information Act is.
I think to understand the POPI Act, Zondi, I think let's start with what's privacy, because POPIA is to regulate privacy. Now, privacy under Section 14 of the Constitution is a right. It's actually a personal right. And Section 14 of the Constitution protects citizens, saying that everybody has the right to his personality, has the right to property, has the right to their own information, and has the right to have protection over communications and personal data. So POPIA regulates privacy. Privacy is a constitutional right protected by Section 14.
All right, so did the sharing of these personal details stop, especially from corporates that used to share them with people who would not have requested them from the client directly?
So, brother Zoni, here's the thing about POPIA. POPIA puts obligations basically on two people. You have what we call responsible parties, which are the companies that are in charge of processing information. And then you have operators. Operators would be people that are outsourced by the responsible party to process information. Now, what is processing of information? Process of information is the collection, the recording, or the storage of any personal identifiable information. Personal identifiable information includes names, emails, phone numbers, any information that can directly link you to a person. This also includes physical addresses. Now, you also have another category of personal information called special personal information. And this information is information related to sex, gender, marital status, and alike, and religious information. This category of information is very special because these are typically information that is used to discriminate against people. So this is a special layer of information that is also protected against by the Constitution in terms of abuse and misuse.
Who's involved in all this process? Who's supposed to make sure that our details are protected?
So the Papaya Act provides 8 conditions, and these are the conditions to lawful processing. This includes accountability, processing limitations, purpose-specific, processing limitations, information quality, openness, security safeguards, and data subject participation. Now, regarding us as citizens, as the normal layman in the street, you have 2 specific rights according to these 8 conditions set out by Papaya. The condition 6 speaks to openness. Now, openness suggests that data subjects are allowed to know about what information has been collected and stored about themselves. So this entails that citizens should give consent to corporations and companies when the information is being used. In fact, it further says that proof of this consent should be given to citizens. And then the second condition is the condition to data subject participation. It says that citizens have the right to participate in their information. This includes questioning companies as to what information do you have about me, what are you using it for, and lastly, citizens also have the right to say, I want you to delete specific categories of data or data that you no longer in use. So this speaks to data deletion.
And if they do not protect our personal information, what recourse do I have?
The enforcement agency, the regulator, is the information regulator. It's a body of the state, and it's the enforcement arm relating to Papaya. Now, the information regulator has immense powers. This is to investigate corporations or companies or any responsible person processing information. It also has the authority to investigate any complaints laid upon by citizens, laid upon by any data subject. A data subject is any person in which its personal information has been used. That also includes natural persons and juristic persons. So both natural and juristic persons can approach the information regulator to ask and have their rights enforced by the information regulator against any corporation or public entity that processes information.
All right. Thank you very much for being a part of our network, Badaung Kotokwan. And with that, let's take a short break. It's SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Welcome back. Here's what else took place in the rest of the world in the tech space.
U.S. chipmaker Corporation has suspended business operation in Russia, joining a slew of companies to exit the country following its invasion of Ukraine. The company, which had last month suspended shipments to customers in Russia and Belarus, said it has implemented business continuity measures to minimize disruption to its global operations. The website of Gazprom Neft, the oil arm of Russian state gas giant, went down this week after an apparent hack in what looked like the latest attack of government-linked sites following Russia's actions in Ukraine. The website briefly showed a statement purporting to be from Gazprom chief executive Alex Miller, a close ally of President Putin. Miller last month urged the gas giant's 500 employees to rally around Putin to preserve Russia as a great power in the face of foreign hostility. The statement attributed to him on what looked like a hacked version of the site cited him as making critical comments about Russia's decision to send tens of thousands of troops into neighboring Ukraine, where thousands of soldiers and civilians have been killed. The website stopped working soon afterwards. The website of the state news agency TASS was hacked in February to show a message calling for Moscow to halt what it calls its special operation in Ukraine.
In the beginning stages of influencer marketing, you'd find that various brands would rather go with social media influencers as opposed to traditional media. But now various research that's been done is showing that the public trusts social media influencers less than they did before. So our Twitter poll this week is asking you about your trust of social media influencers now. Do you trust them as much as you did before, or do you trust them less? And that's it. That's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's News Network at sabc.co.za and email. From me, Spumelele Zondi, and the rest of the team. Have a good one. Bye-bye.